Greetings! Today is March the 10th of 2025. Last week I had a little tiny vacation and I spent some time deleting videos off of this phone from about 3 years ago when I was shooting all the Toyaholic videos in Mississippi. Every single fragment of a take or a retake or just recording something for audio, they were all still on my phone. And I got to the point where my phone was so full, if I needed to take a photo for work, I had to figure out what I wanted to delete off my phone to have space for a photo. So while I was taking a little vacation last week, among the other things that I did, I also took the time to upload every single file on the phone to my YouTube channel as an unlisted file. And then once I saw that it was there, I felt comfortable enough to delete it off the phone. It cleared up a lot of space because this is like the fourth or fifth take I've done of this opening already, and the phone has yet to say no more space, no more space. But a few of them I accidentally toggled to public, and people were like, "Woohoo, he's back!" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, not back yet. That's a video that I've posted before. It was the backup copy of it, but I am working on deleting stuff off my phone so I can shoot a couple of neat videos." And the topic today is going to be about Star Wars a little bit, but also its relationship to the Dark Crystal. I did a video a couple years ago where I touched on this, and I think I entitled it Straighting to an Inside Draw, and I talked about the die-cast collection. This was the most expensive ship that I bought to complete my Kenner die-cast Star Wars vehicle collection. But I found out an interesting thing. A few years ago, I'm also a big fan of the Muppets and basically anything Jim Henson worked on. So a couple years ago, I saw this photo floating around on the internet, and it's credited to a website called russvic.com. He builds puppets and also he restores puppets if you prowl around his website, but I can't find this photo on there anymore. So it's just thankfully one that I archived at the time. And it was a picture of the puppet for a character from the Dark Crystal whose name is Skektek. He's the Skeksis scientist. Fair warning, I did a video one time where I mentioned Skeksis and someone in the comments said, "You mispronounced Skeksis." And I commented back to them. I said, "How am I supposed to pronounce it?" And they never answered me, which I have a huge pet peeve about people that just say this is wrong or point out what's not working and they don't offer a solution. Don't bring me a problem if you're not going to bring me a solution. So to this day, I'm not sure how some one person out there in the internet thinks I'm supposed to pronounce Skeksis. So I'm just going to say it this way. But the Skektek the scientist, Skeksis, in the Dark Crystal, that's a lot of sibilants in one sentence. It was 4 photos. So it was like puppet from the movie, puppet in close-up, and then a picture of a carded white die-cast Kenner TIE Fighter. I've had this little guy here for a long, long time. This was the version that it came a little piece of paper that said, "Oh, hey, crimp the metal if it stops holding on to the plastic tabs of the wings. Take a pair of pliers and crimp it." I mean, Kenner actually told you, mess up your toys. There's a great photo that shows George Lucas on the set of Return of the Jedi, and he's looking at all these TIE fighters in the ILM workshop, and you can actually see that there's a whole row of little white Kenner TIE fighters, and one of them is missing the cockpit insert. But apparently, 1983's Return of the Jedi was not the first time that Kenner Star Wars die-cast vehicles were used in a major motion picture. Because when you look in the close-up that Russ Vic provided of the Skektek puppet, the eye was a Kenner die-cast cockpit ball. But I took issue with the fact that he showed the white TIE Fighter in the carded photo, because what you were seeing on that puppet was gray. Furthermore, you could see that the way they had attached it, you could still see these black rods. And I'm like, well, the rods were only on the Vader tie. They weren't on the white tie. Vader tie had rods on the cockpit that went into the wings, and it was the opposite for the white tie. And that was when I learned something else. because I publicly commented on that photo in whatever form I'd found it, and someone more knowledgeable than me about the Kenner TIE fighters was, oh, you must have a first version of the white tie, because later versions of the white tie reversed it. So this one had the posts on the wing go into the cockpit, and this one had posts on the cockpit that go into the wings. I'll compare those wings for you too. One's an Indy and one's an Audi. You can actually attach them together, but they won't stay together. So I saw the photo, I commented on the photo. I said, that's wrong, it should be the Vader TIE Fighter. I'm positive of it. And people were like, it could be a white one if they repaint it. I'm like, repainted it the exact same color gray? I just don't think so. So, and plus, you'd have to specifically repaint these shafts black to match what was on. No, clearly Occam's razor says they used the Vader tie. And I forgot about it. Parallel to that, about 3 years ago, Zach and I went to a convention in Birmingham, Alabama, and we met Mike Quinn. Now, I knew Mike Quinn from a few things, a few credits as a puppeteer. Chiefly, he played Nyan Nun in Return of the Jedi. But I had seen his name pop up in some of these Henson films over time. And so we met him, had a picture made with him, had a lovely chat, sat in on his panel, got to ask a question during that. So I think we even went back by his table one more time after that. And so I was like walking up and I'm like, holy cow, you worked on Little Shop of Horrors? And he was like, yeah. I said, what'd you do on Little Shop? And he goes, I was Vines, and also Vines, and some Vines, and I think I was some Vines. And then after we leave, like after I posted the photo to my Facebook page, belatedly it occurred to me, I had puppeteered for the Audrey 2 when I directed a production in 2012, and Zach had helped in one scene as the tongue of the Volkswagen-sized puppet that I was doing the jaw movements for and the gross body movements. I'm like, wow, it's a photo of 3 people that have been puppeteers for the Audrey 2. So I didn't send him a friend request, but I did start following Mike Quinn on Facebook. And I would see him do various stuff. And one day, he posted a photo. And he said, in essence, I held on to these items all these years ago when we were building the puppets for the Dark Crystal. And each puppet for the Dark Crystal would have the main one that a puppeteer's hand was in, and also a walk-around version that had usually like Kieran Shaw or Deep Roy or one of those type performers inside of it, moving the body weight around for any scenes where a Skeksis is walking. He said, I had a feeling that this would be part of history. And it was a picture of 4 of these. 4 Vader wings. Now, what's really funny to me is that when they did Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance, Skektek the scientist did not have a TIE Fighter prosthetic eye anymore, but now he was voiced by Mark Hamill. So, anyway, I just thought all that stuff was kind of neat and trivia and cool, so. Oh, by the way, not too long ago, on his page, Mike Quinn said, I'm about to start selling off some of my collection. It's time. So if you want to be involved in those, send me a request at, and it was like Mike Quinn Collectibles or whatever, a second Facebook page. So I did. And I browsed through the listings. And it was, interesting stuff. And I didn't see what I was looking for. And I messaged him. I said, any chance you're wanting to sell those? He said, yeah, let me get you a price. So we went back and forth a couple times because he had them in a lot with another costume piece from the same character. And as much as that interested me, I told him, I said, just speaking candidly, that's out of my price range. What about just, the wings? And he came back with a price. So I got this package the other day, and with my work schedule, I've just been trying to find a day that I could shoot this video. But from M. Quinn to me, and on the customs declaration, I've actually got another Mike Quinn autograph there. So, it's a plastic toy. So let's cut into this and let's find out what's inside. But I told him, I said it would be super cool to tell people, oh, those, yeah, I got those from 9 Nun. He laughed. He said, I didn't think about that. All right. So, there is the box opened now that we were just looking at. I hate when I put things out of frame because I've done videos about sleight of hand and the fact that we can fake stuff. So, all right. Let's see what the best way is to open this. All right, it's in a Ziploc bag. Bako foil? Maybe that's a British version of Bako foil. Never heard of that, so I think I just zipped it instead of unzipping it. Maybe not. Alright, so here we go. And they're all wrapped in red tissue paper. But 4, because of the 2 sets of wings. And let's make sure that I know which ones are my originals right now. Let's put them back on the cockpit sphere. All right. But these were purchased at some point in England for the production of the Dark Crystal, and they have been in Mike Quinn's possession ever since. But I'd say that's definitive proof that it was not a white Kenner TIE Fighter that they used to make the Skeksis prosthetic eye. It was in fact the Vader tie, the curved wing Vader tie. So I'm going to put these into a frame or something. And I might even take Mike Quinn's autograph off of that Customs Declaration sticker and put it in there with it. So now I have a Dark Crystal collection edition, as well as a Star Wars collection edition. And these came from the personal collection of puppeteer Mike Quinn, who's a really great guy to talk to. I enjoyed most of his stories. I enjoyed all of his stories, most of which I had never heard before when he was doing the panel and everything. So, and it is 9 Nun, no matter what anybody else wants to say. I always called it that because that's what they said in the Kenner TV commercial. He said, yeah, because it was number 9 on the call sheet. And that's where they came up with the name. But it's not spelled with an M, it's spelled with an N. So, thanks for watching. Hope this has been a neat video after such a long drought without any from me. I've got a couple more neat ideas planned. Thanks for watching.